The battlefield, moments ago a cacophony of explosions and screams, fell into an unnatural silence. All eyes, hero, villain, and Nomu alike, snapped to the unassuming figure who had simply appeared at the epicenter of the chaos. Shirou Emiya, cloaked in an aura of profound, almost impossible calm, radiated a presence so potent it stilled the very air. Nomu ceased their guttural roars, their vacant eyes fixating on him. Heroes instinctively coalesced, their quirks flaring to life, an unspoken question passing between them. Hero? Villain? Vigilante? What is he? Fear, an unfamiliar sensation in the face of such raw, untamed power, rippled through their ranks. Shigaraki, backed by his assembled forces of villains and the Meta-Liberation Army, stared in a mixture of confusion, awe, and primal terror. Who was this man who commanded such stillness? Who possessed such an overwhelming presence that even his highly trained forces faltered? Only Gudako remained perfectly calm, a soft, knowing smile gracing her lips, causing her classmates in 1A to exchange bewildered glances. Why wasn't she afraid? As the heroes gathered, distracted by the enigma before them, Shigaraki saw his chance. Now, he shrieked, his voice a distorted chorus of stolen quirks, launching a surprise attack. Don't let them recover. Everyone, get ready, Endeavor roared, but it was too late. The villains surged forward. But just as their assault began, Shirou moved. Or rather, the world moved around him. The divine intervention. With a mere thought, Shirou activated his divine authority and control over concepts. The hundreds if not thousands of high-ranked Nomu, the menacing villains, and the Meta-Liberation Army fanatics froze mid-stride. Their attacks, their quirks, their very momentum simply stopped. Then, with a gentle, unseen force, they began to unravel. Nomu, designed for mindless destruction, dissolved into harmless dust. Villains felt their quirks flicker and die, their hateful intent draining away, replaced by bewilderment. Their weapons clattered to the ground, no longer able to hold them. The overwhelming horde simply ceased to be a threat. Shigaraki, now wielding the terrifying might of All for One and the devastating boosted power, roared in rage. What did you do, you bastard? He unleashed a torrent of stolen quirks, explosive blasts, shock waves, razor-sharp air bullets, all aimed at Shirou, but each attack dissipated harmlessly before it reached him, like mist before the sun. Enraged, Shigaraki rushed forward, reaching out a decaying hand, intent on stealing this unknown's quirk. His fingers made contact with Shirou's skin. Nothing. Shigaraki felt nothing. No quirk factor, no core energy, no power signature whatsoever. The man was quirkless. The realization struck him like a bolt of lightning. This impossible power, this utter nullification of his ultimate strength, came from a mere quirkless human. A primal, instinctual fear, deeper than any he'd known, seized him. Retreat, he shrieked, his voice echoing the terror of a cornered animal. Fall back now. But retreating proved just as futile. As Shigaraki and the remaining villains scrambled, the world around them shimmered. Shirou, with a silent command, pulled them all into a separate pocket dimension, a place where only he dictated the rules. A proposition of salvation. Within this ethereal domain, stripped of their power and their capacity for violence, Shigaraki, the remaining villains, and the Meta-Liberation Army found themselves trapped. Before them stood Shirou, his gaze unwavering, penetrating to the very core of their beings. Tomura Shigaraki. Shirou's voice resonated not just in their ears, but in their very souls. Or rather, Tenko Shimura. I know your pain. I know your past. The agony of your childhood. The despair that twisted you into what you are. I see the burden of All for One's will upon your soul, the hatred that consumes you. He turned his gaze to the others. You, Dabi, your burning resentment. The scars of your rejection. You, Himiko Tall he had to Ben Kadiga, your warped understanding of love and desire. Every one of you. I know your secrets, your hurts, the reasons you chose this path. His presence, overwhelming yet strangely soothing, enveloped them. I can fix all of it, Shirou continued, his voice imbued with a boundless compassion that transcended mortal understanding. The pain, the scars, the brokenness. I can mend your past, purify the corruption within you, and heal the society that wronged you. You just have to abandon this path of villainy. Abandon your hatred, and I can save you. I can save everyone. I can change this society for the better, into a world where such despair never festers. The villains stared, their minds reeling. Never had they encountered such a being. A true force of nature who knew them utterly, saw their deepest wounds, and offered not punishment, but absolute salvation. The choice was laid bare. Cling to their shattered past, or accept a benevolent omnipotence that promised a world truly free from pain. The future of villainy and hero society hung in the silent, profound presence of Shirou Emiya.